good day wherever you might be. This is the TKC update. As you know, we've not had our troubles to seek business-wise. We are getting there now. So I've got a few things to update you all on. Number one, Watchtower. That's interesting. The New Zealand and Australian navies and air forces are now done, are ready to put in all the ground stuff for them. Unfortunately, the Japanese work I've got is incomplete for the Army Air Service. I've got the naval stuff, and I've possibly got a file that's got all the actual naval ships in it in a Word format, which would be really handy, a bit less typing. So I'm doing some research in the Japanese Army Air Force, which is proving a bit difficult. Let's leave it that way. It's not massive. It's not the Luftwaffe. It's not the RAF. So it should be fairly quick to do it, but that doesn't take away the fact it has to be done. I think it would be better for us to do a whole of war solution there. That's how we're approaching it. Vulcan Fury is shipping. You will get your games. End of updating that. You'll see it soon. Andrew and I have been working really hard on some proposal documents and so on that we need to do because there are changes and moves afoot. Some of that relates to the software project, which we've had a lot of really exciting news about. We've had a really positive meeting today with our management consultant, Andy Campbell. What's the update in that? What's the exciting stuff you need to know about that? Well, number one, our map editing tool is now 64-bit code. As I've mentioned before, Bob had a few problems with that. He's got it running. I've got an installer I can show you on the screen, but there's not much point because, frankly, it's got a couple of bugs. One of them is awkward. Another one we haven't replicated yet. I'm sure it'll happen again. I'm pretty sure it happens when we export stuff and it mucks up layers. The awkward one is just a redraw issue. Bob's working on that right now. Hopefully we'll have that fixed in a couple of days. We can now change terrain colors on screen. And by mucking about a file, we can change them actually in export documentation for the board games. It's really powerful. We can now change text, we believe, but it's a bit clunky. So Bob's working on integrating all of that into the editing tool, which will accelerate product design quite dramatically. The other thing that we're working on, part of the process of the software project as a whole, is to integrate into the editor the ability to essentially create all the information you need as a player of our games within the editor. So it'll fork. We can split it and do a board game, or we can do a computer game. The actual computer game software, we're going to do some videos of that. One of them is kind of an instructional thing to pique your curiosity. I'm really excited by that. I can't wait to do it. It won't be tonight. I have bags under my eyes. 2-hour rant by Jeff again. Really cool. That is important that we get this right because we need to attract investment. If you want to pump money into our business to get the software out, to help us develop the board games, to build what's already a successful company and make it very successful instead of just successful, please feel free to contact us. Your first point of contact will be Andrew Allen, but if you go to info@tkcgames.com on our website, send an email, Andrew will look at it, he'll alert me. We're happy to talk to anybody to try and build a more successful business. We're also working really hard on rules development for things like Between the Wars and World War I. More work has been done in that. And I've now identified through a book that I've read a fairly good chunk of information about Chinese industrial base in relation to the ability to wage war. That's important for two reasons. Part of it is what's going to be in the China incident, obviously, but also a big chunk of that industry was actually captured by the Japanese fairly quickly and moved to the home islands, and it will show there's a theoretical increase in capacity of production for the Japanese. I say theoretical because my understanding is it wasn't quite as successful as they'd hoped. there's a strong case to be made that they should have left it in China, used Chinese resources and Chinese manpower used to operate the thing to operate it. From what I understand, they didn't do that. So, not really my problem. Another comment about the Japanese, we will be doing a bit more digging through some of their auxiliary assets, repair ships, supply ships, that kind of thing, just so we've got a better handle on what went where. We need to know where the destroyer tenders are, where the seaplane tenders are. We've got a lot of that already. We have a brilliant source for that. I'm not too concerned. It won't take long to amend the file if that's necessary. I will, this week, I hope, have time. I've been saying it for a few weeks now, to speak with Corey. At the moment, I'm spending 2 to 3 hours a day in meetings. That has to be done because, frankly, without those meetings, we can't progress a big part of what we're doing. It's a real pain in the neck, but it has to be done. And so far, everything's looking really positive. It's amazing what a bit of hard work can do, and also we change in luck. Because we're putting in the time, we are starting to get some outcomes that are exciting. I will be putting up in the next fortnight, I would imagine, excerpts of in-game OB art for Watchtower. The reason it's taking time is I want the stuff to be done essentially so you can see elements of what effectively is a completed part of the product rather than me just giving you a little bit of something just to keep you happy. I want this to be a brilliant game. What I'm seeing looks really exciting. So Watchtower is fantastic, I think. I've also been working indirectly on Liberation and Blitzkrieg revision. That is really reading. So if I'm sitting reading a book, I don't read the latest Lee Childs or the revision of J.R.R. Tolkien or whatever. I don't have time. It's all military history and economics and political history and all that kind of stuff. So that obviously burns a lot of time. Has to be done. Without it, you don't get the product, you don't get the quality of the product, and you don't get stuff like our attempts to create a production system. Jeff and I touched that in the meeting we've just done online. We are going to talk about it some more in the near future. I'll probably give him what we've come up with and see if we can get some way to make that work within the actual games in such a way that you really like it and that makes sense given the scale of our products. So, contrary to the very long briefing that we did and rants we've been doing, this is a short one. I don't have much more to say today. We will have more as time goes by. We're doing videos because I quite like it. We can get a lot of content this way fairly quickly. And we will be doing some photograph stuff that I need to give Andrew. I can't remember if I gave him the files, and if I didn't, it will come up, which will show essentially from way back there to out the door, games get made. So you understand how much hard work goes into these things. It's not just me sitting at a computer or someone stuffing a box. Me, by the way. There isn't anyone else really to do it. There's a huge amount goes into them. And every title ends up taking longer than I'd hoped. Not because we're taking the mickey. Almost said a word that's not allowed. It's actually because as we hit brick walls in that development schedule, we need to go and find a way through the wall, over it, or around it. And we can't do that instantly. I rather wish we could. Because it would mean that you'd get your games that bit quicker. But I'm told by clients that what we do is pretty damn good. And thank you for that praise. We really appreciate that. We really appreciate the support. So, once we get some documents we're working on, we'll put edited versions of them to pique your curiosity, to explain how you can invest in what we're doing, how you can support what we're doing, and how you can get in behind everything to do with our computer games. If there's tools you would like in an editor for something you're doing, shout. Our editor's really flexible. It can be adapted to other software, and we can look at giving you a license for that, obviously for a fee. Have a wonderful evening, guys. Thank you again for listening. We will catch up with you soon. Chin up. It's not that bad. And with a bit of luck, it's sunny where you are. Here it's dark and wet and damp and miserable. But I'm feeling pretty good about things. We are getting there, and hugely appreciate everything you've done to help us. Have a good one, and good night. Bye bye.